Hey, Creep Street. Now, I know a lot of us here are gamers, so I thought I would take you on a little mini tour of my original Super Nintendo console that I got when I was little and the games that I have. And here it is, the original Super Nintendo. Now you'll notice there is a yellowing effect of the gray. Now that is because apparently in the early versions of the Super Nintendos they were producing, the mixture of the plastic was a little off, so it had this yellowing effect, which they quickly fixed. So yeah, it's pretty cool knowing that it's one of those early Super Nintendos that came to the United States. So super cool knowing that. In fact, there you can see 1991. I was 2 years old. And here are the games, of course. And let's start off with a banger here. Of course, NBA Jam, an absolute classic. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I just remember when I was little, I loved the box art, the guy on the cliff holding up the sword. Always thought that was cool, so that's why later in life I picked it up at a secondhand store. Now, Tetris Attack, this is what Maureen and I play most of the time when we plug in the Super Nintendo, an excellent puzzle game. Next, we got Lethal Enforcers, a weird little like arcadey shooting game, and I remember it came with the blue gun that was like an add-on that would plug into the controller port, and the shooter, whatever the lens was a little bit off, so you'd have to shoot like a couple inches to the left or right, and but you still got pretty good at it. Now we've got WWF Royal Rumble, probably the greatest wrestling game on the Super Nintendo, by far. And NFL Quarterback Club, never really played this as a kid. It was really kind of confusing, and the mechanics were just difficult for me to grasp at a young age. And of course, an absolute classic, Super Mario World, probably one of the greatest 2D platformers of all time, one of the greatest Mario games ever made, one of the greatest games ever made, and so glad I have my original copy. Turtles in Time. Oh, I spent hours playing this game. A classic beat 'em up. If you can, pick up a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. Excellent game. And Super Mario Kart, what can you say? The beginning of a legend. Next, we have Mario is Missing, a weird educational game I didn't really play. And NHL 94 is said to be maybe one of the greatest sports games of all time, and probably true. And next we have Bram Stoker's Dracula. It was an adaptation of the Francis Ford Coppola movie with Anthony Hopkins and Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves. Kind of a Castlevania ripoff, but certainly a lot of fun. Certainly a lot of fun. Let's see. Oh, and WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, not as good as Royal Rumble, that is for sure. Mario Paint, bought that. Don't have the little add-on, the mouse or whatever to actually work the game, but Batman Forever, let me tell you, not a good game at all. Handles very weird. The mechanics kind of suck. Really almost impossible to play in many ways. Not a big fan, of course. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, a classic game that has just been remade on the Nintendo Switch. Oh, let's see, and of course Donkey Kong Country speaks for itself, and one of the great platformers of all time. Another great platformer I spent most of my time playing was Mickey's Magical Quest. Kind of strange. Well, it's actually the Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, but in my mind it's always been Mickey's Magical Quest. I don't know why. It's like a Mandela effect. And Buster Bust Loose. I just remember this game being almost impossible. Super hard, of course. And Super WrestleMania, not as good as Royal Rumble, of course, but a noble effort. Always love wrestling games. Scooby-Doo Mystery. I remember picking this up at a secondhand store. Never really played it. It's sort of a platformer, goofy kind of fun game. Oh, Street Fighter II. Absolutely a revolutionary game. Classic game that changed fighting games forever. So happy to have that one for sure. Now, while NHL 94 may be considered the best, I loved NHL 96 because there was a glitch. If you shot the puck from this specific angle, it would go in every time, and boy, oh boy, did I use that glitch. Clay Fighter, a fun little take on the fighting game genre. And Punch-Out, Super Punch-Out, of course, another classic. Jurassic Park, I spent many, many hours playing that game. Star Fox, another classic. What can you say? Take to the sky, Fox. Oh, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Maureen and I love this game from the bottom of our hearts. We love it so much that we even have a poster of it on our dang wall. Can't get enough. Oh, The Adventures of Dr. Franken. A weird little platformer I picked up just because I wanted something horror-themed. Never really played it much, just like the aesthetic. Oh, and of course, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Now, you can tell my mom bought it for me when I was little at like a garage sale, because that's certainly not my name, but a classic game nonetheless. And folks, that is my Super Nintendo and my collection of games. Citizens of the Milky Way, good night and goodbye.